Okay, good evening to one and all. Give me a confirmation if you guys can hear me. Give me a confirmation if you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me, give me a confirmation, please. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So good evening to one and all. Good evening for the day fifth. Is it day fifth, right? Yeah, it is. So today we are going to explore more about Python and we are going to dive into NumPy and pandas. Tomorrow we're going to explore the machine learning. Okay, we're going to look onto why we need to use machine learning, and we're going to explore some models in machine learning as well. And on the last day, I will be giving you a project. Okay, I will be giving you a project, and those students who have attended all the session and those students who will going to provide the submission for that project will be eligible for the certification. Okay, so in order to get a certificate you have to do two things. First of all, you need to make sure that you are attending all the session each day, and secondly, you need to submit the project that I will be giving you day after tomorrow. Okay, with the help of that you will be getting and you will be eligible for the certificate itself. Okay, before going on, let me show you our campus ambassador program. Let me do this. Just give a second. Uh, yeah, perfect. Okay, just give me a second. Okay. Yeah, so before going on, let me show you our Campus Ambassador program. This program is specifically designed for all the students out there, okay? Doesn't matter you are from school or colleges. So you need, or when you are in a school, when you are in a college, you need to provide some extracurricular activities, right? In your resume itself, when you are applying for some internship or some job application, you need to provide what you have done apart from your studies during your college time or school time, right? So this campus ambassador program is a perfect thing to add on in your resume as well. Okay, so we have a DevTown campus ambassador program with us. Okay, in this what you need to do is you need to enroll and you will be the face of DevTown in your respective colleges and schools. Okay, so you will be representing DevTown. Okay, and before going on, what we have to do, let's discuss about what are the perks for this. Okay, you will be getting a letter of recommendation. That's no this is the topmost thing that you should go for it, because you will be getting a letter of recommendation that you can easily show to any company that you are eligible to be more collaborative, you are a team player, and this is the proof. Okay, and apart from that, you will be getting your certificates and badges and rewards. How can we forget about the rewards, right? So rewards and incentives, so there are two things, one being the rewards and other being the incentives and highly paid stipend. Okay, we provide a high pay stipend. Okay, and all the rewards has been mentioned over here. These are some of the rewards that you will be getting if you apply for this program. Okay, more information about this program, if you want to enroll in this program, you can check out this website. Everything is at free of cost. You just need to go and apply now and you can fill this form itself. Okay, all the perks and all the details, what you can expect, what you need to do, and what will you be getting apart from this. Okay, so everything, all the information is provided over here. Kindly check this. So let me add this link over here in the chat section. Okay, so let me add this pin message. Perfect. So the message has been pinged. You can go and check out all the details. If you are most interested in that, kindly go and enroll it, because it will going to help you a lot to mention in your resume and during your interviews as well, that you have done something apart from studies, something apart from your domain, to express and to help different people. Okay, perfect. Coming back to the topic, yesterday we have discussed about the data structures. Okay, we have discussed about the list, we have discussed about the dictionary, we have discussed about tuple, and we have discussed about the sets. Okay, today we're going to start will everyone who applies become no when you're applying for the campus ambassador. Okay, we're going to review your form and we're going to take an interview. Okay, so according to that interview, we're going to decide who will be eligible for this. Okay, so you can give it a shot. Let's come back to the topic. Okay, so now today we're going to start with the loops part. We're going to understand what exactly are loops. We are going to understand what are the conditional statements. Okay, and then we're going to move towards the NumPy and pandas. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start. So let's start with for loop. Or let's start with conditional statement first. Conditional statement. Okay. Now, conditional statement, as the name suggests, we are going to learn about some statement that follows some conditions. Okay. In a general life, being, when we talk about some statements that are conditional, we use if. Okay, we use if this happens, we're going to do this. If this happens, we're going to do something else, right? Let's talk about a match. Let's suppose there's a match between India versus Australia. Let's suppose we are having a match between India versus Australia. Okay, now while the match was going to occur, I had a bet with my friend. Okay, my friend told me he was supporting Australia while I was supporting India. So we had a bet. Okay, we had a bet, and bet goes like that: if India won, then he will going to give me 500 rupees, and if Australia will going to win, I am going to provide him 500 rupees. Very simple, right? If India will going to win, he will going to pay me. If Australia will going to win, I am going to pay him. Okay, so in a general life, if I have to put this statement, how can I put over here? I say if something, over here a condition, if a condition, let me write over here, if condition, if this condition is satisfied, then over here you are going to provide a statement. Then if this condition is satisfied, then you have to follow this statement. Otherwise, if this condition, this is a second condition. Let me write over here, first condition. Let me expand this. And this is my second condition, and then the statement. Okay, if the first condition is true, then you're going to go with this statement. If the second condition is true, you're going to go with this statement. Let me write over here, if only. Okay, now let me copy this and paste it over here. First condition is India will win. Okay, if this happen, what will be the statement? My friend will give me 500 rupees. Okay, if India will win, my friend will going to give me 500 rupees. The other statement is if Australia will win, what I have to do? I am going to give my friend 100 rupees. Let me write over here. I will give him 100 rupees. So this is a general way of making a statement. This is a conditional statement where we are providing a statement based on a condition. The condition is this, and whereas the statement is this. Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Okay, perfect. Okay, now similarly, if you want to convert this statement, to a Python language, it is very, very simple. In Python as well, the syntax to follow the conditional statement is, if we have three keywords, always remember this: we have if, we have elif, we have else. Okay, you need to remember these three keywords in Python: if, elif, and else. Okay, so what is the syntax for the conditional statement? If, then a condition, then a statement, else, then a statement. Okay, else over here means otherwise. else over here mean otherwise. Okay, if I have to convert this into this form, how I'm going to provide? If condition, what is the condition? India will going to win. India will going to win. Let me declare a variable. Let's say variable. Okay, let me have a variable as India. Okay, over here I can provide win or lose. Okay, so simultaneously if I'm telling that India has lost the game, it directly means that Australia has won the game. Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? Yes or no? Getting this? Okay, perfect. So over here, this is a variable int, that is India, and we are going to provide some value. It will be win or lose. Now I'm going to provide a condition that if India is equals to win. If India is going to win, the statement will be print the statement. The statement will be let me expand this. He will give rupees 500. Else means otherwise. Otherwise the statement will be I will give 100 rupees. Now see, over here, this entire statement means the same thing. This entire statement means the same thing. Okay, over here it says if India will going to win, my friend will going to give me 500. Similarly, I am representing over here in Python that if India is equals to win, that means if the value of this variable India is win, then he will going to give me 500. Otherwise means if this will not going to happen. Okay, if this will not going to happen, that means if India has not won, then definitely Australia has won, right? If Australia has won, directly it will going to go to else block. It will say I will give 500 rupees. Till here it's clear? Till here it's clear? Till here it's clear? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, perfect. Now there is another case as match drawn. One is that India will going to win, Australia will going to lose. Another condition is Australia will going to win, India will going to lose, right? And there is one more condition where the match will be tied. So we are representing three condition over here. We are representing three condition. That means we are talking about multiple condition. When we talk about multiple condition, we use elif. We use elif. Elif represent multiple condition. Okay, let's see this. Let's see this first in our Python interpreter, that how it will going to work. So this is my win and this is my lose. Let me put this into another cell. Okay, so let's say win. Okay, now if I'm going to run this, what will going to be printed? Statement 1 or statement 2? Tell me. Will statement 1 will going to print or statement 2? Tell me. Statement 1 or statement 2? Statement 1, exactly. Okay, statement 1 will be printed. Let's try this. He will give me 500 rupees. That's a statement 1. If I say over here lose, now the second statement will be printed. I will give rupees 500, right? Now what about match drawn? So now we have to provide more condition, right? So let's say I'm going to use elif and I'm going to say India is equals to lose. That means if India has lost the game, then I am going to pay. Else means otherwise. No one will going to pay. No one will gonna pay because the match is drawn. If match is drawn, so neither he will going to pay me nor I am going to pay him, right? So let's see this. If I'm going to run this, I am going to get, I will give rupees 500 because the value of the variable IND or India has been set to loose. Okay, let's run this. I will give rupees 500. If I say match drawn, now interpreter will going to look from here. It will going to say, is the value of this variable is when? It will going to check. No, that means false. Okay, so if the condition is false, so directly interpreter will going to jump on to the next condition. Interpreter will not going to look on to this statement, okay, unless and until the condition is true. Interpreter will not going to look on to this statement. Okay, then when the interpreter comes up to the next statement, it says that is the value of this variable is loose, it will going to match. It says no, it is giving us false, so we don't have to go on to the statement. And we have else part. That means if these two statement are not true, if these two statements are not true and they are not giving you value, then whatsoever will the value of India, kindly print this part. Okay, so if you are going to print this, no one will gonna pay. Okay, it will going to work on different part as well. If I say, let me say 1, the value of India is 1. Now tell me what will going to be printed, statement 1, statement 2 or statement 3. Which of the three statement will going to get printed? Come on. Statement 3, exactly, statement 3 will going to get printed because it falls under this else block. No one will gonna pay. Okay, till here it's clear. This is how we use the conditional statement in Python. Okay, perfect. Let's talk about the loops. Okay, in Python we have two loops. Okay, in Python we have two loops. One is for loop and another being the while loop. Okay, we don't have any loop such as while do while, sorry. We don't have any do while loop in different programming languages, such as in Java we have a do while loop as well. Okay, so in Python we have only two loops, one being the for loop and another being the while loop. Okay, is this clear? Yes or no? Give me a confirmation. Till here it's clear? Okay, perfect. Now the question arises is, okay, if we have two loops, now if I want to use a loop, now how would I know that which loop I have to use? If I'm writing some program and I need to use a loop, right? Now if we have two loops, so which loop we have to use? Okay, let's understand what exactly is a loop. Okay, loop means a circular, you can say a circular, you can have a circular body, you can have a ring. Just assume that this is a ring, or you can assume it as a ground. Okay, this is a ground. Okay, now in this ground, over here I am having my athlete. In a loop, the starting point and the ending point is remain the same. Okay, in a loop the starting point and the ending point is remain the same. Okay, loop means that goes on and on and on, that continues. Okay, that continues with on and on and on, that never stops. Okay, so if you're going to start from here, this is a loop, over here you are going on and on and on and on. Okay, if you must have seen a movie Doctor Strange, anyone who have seen the movie Doctor Strange? Anyone who have seen the movie Doctor Strange? Okay, so in the last scene, if you are going to recap the entire scenario, in the last scene, if you see, when the Doctor Strange goes to Dormammu for the bargain, what happened is Doctor Strange put Dormammu in a time loop. Right? So what will going to happen, that every time when Dormammu was trying to kill Doctor Strange, after a second of time, the entire event happens again, right? And it goes on and on and on and on. That was a loop. Okay, that was a loop. Okay, So in Python, we have two kind of loop, one being the for loop and another being the while loop. Suppose I need to do a job. My teacher caught me that I was talking to my friend. Okay. So she gave us a task that you need to write, I'm sorry. You need to write, I'm sorry. How many times? 1,000 times. Let's say 1,000 times into 1,000. Okay. She told me that you need to write, I'm sorry, 1,000 times. Okay. Now, the first ideal way is that I am going to write this entire phrase 1,000 times. That means, let's copy this. Okay, so the first is that I'm going to write this 1,000 times like this. Okay. Now the next method is that if I have to do the job over and over and over again, in this case, I'm going to use a loop. In this case, I'm going to use a loop and I'm going to tell the loop that, hey, you have to run 1,000 times. You have to run 1,000 times and you need to do this. Every time you run, kindly print this. Every time you run, kindly print this. So in this manner, I will be printing I am sorry 1,000 times by writing a single line of code. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Perfect. So let's understand, we have two loops. We have for loop and while loop. When do we have to use a for loop and when do we have to use a while loop? Let's start from for loop. Okay. Now, when we use a for loop, you need to tell the loop when to stop. In for loop, you have to tell the loop when to stop. Let's take an example. Let's suppose this is a ground. This is a ground. Over here, you are having an athlete. Over here, at this point, you are having an athlete. Okay. And this is one loop. If a athlete completes this entire round, it is known as one loop. Okay. You are telling, now the statement is, you are telling the athlete that you have to take 10 rounds. You have to take 10 rounds. It doesn't matter if you're tired after some rounds. It doesn't matter you got hurt, you fall off or something else. At somehow you need to cover 10 rounds. So now see, in this statement, I'm providing the number of loops. I'm providing the number of times the athlete has to cover this loop. Okay. So in for loop, we provide the number of loops, number of times the loop will going to run. Okay. In for loop, you will going to specify the number of times the loop will going to run. If you want to make the loop runs like 10 times, 4 times, 6 times, you have to mention in the for loop. Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Okay. Perfect. Now, when do we use a while loop? We use a while loop when we don't give the loop that how many times you have to run. While loop says that I am going to run infinite time. I am going to run infinite time. So if you want me to stop, provide me a condition. Give me a condition. And based on that condition, I am going to stop. If a condition becomes false, I am going to stop. Otherwise, if a condition is true, I am going to run infinitely. Okay. Let's check the practical implementation. This is for the for loop. Okay. Now, if you want to use a for loop, you have to tell the interpreter that which loop are you going to use. So we have the keyword as for the for loop and while for the while loop. Okay. The syntax of for loop will be for I in range. Okay. Range means that, sorry, not in. Range means that how many times you want your loop to run. Range function will going to take two values, one being the starting value, other being the ending value, and it will going to run between that range. Okay, let's say 0 to 10. So this loop will going to run 10 times. this loop will going to run 10 times. Okay, now what you want to do, I want to print I am sorry. I want to print I am sorry. Okay, what does this piece of code means? That for is the keyword that makes the interpreter understand that we are going to use a for loop. I in range 0 to 10. If you use this range function 0 to 10, that means when we say range from 0, starts from 0, go till 10. So all the numbers that falls between 0 to 10, it will going to print over here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay. In this range function itself, the starting point is inclusive and the ending point is exclusive. That means you will going to include 0, but you will not going to include 10. You will not going to include 10. Okay, 10 is exclusive, the same way that we have defined in the indexing. Over here 10 is exclusive, and on each iteration the value of I will going to change. For the first iteration, the value of I will be 0 because the range is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 to 9, right? Now on the first iteration, the value of I will be 0. So if I say print over here the value of I, so it will going to print 0. For the next iteration, the value will be 1. Over here, the value will be 1. So if you're going to print I, the value will going to be get printed 1. Okay, so let's run this and see what will going to be the output. Okay, the output will be similar as this one. Okay, let's see this. See, 0 till 9. 0 till 9. Okay, why not 10? Because 10 is exclusive and 0 is inclusive. Starting point is always inclusive as well, and this ending point is always exclusive. Okay, so now if I want to write this down as hello world, it will going to print hello world 10 times. It will going to print hello world 10 times. Okay, with this piece of code, I'm not repeating my codes. Simply I am having 10 piece of line of code. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Yes or no? Okay. Perfect. Now you can have nested loop as well. Nested loop means a loop inside a loop. A loop inside a loop. Okay, so this is a loop. Over here as well, if I say for j in range 0, 5, that means this is a loop that is inside a loop. So let me print over here I comma j. Okay, a for loop inside a for loop. This concept is known as a nested loop. Nested loop means a loop inside a loop. Let me write over here. Nested loop means loop in a loop. Loop in a loop. Okay, if you are going to print this, so these are all the values. That means you say for I in range 0 and 10. So for the first iteration, the value of I becomes 0. This is 0. Okay, this is 0. Oh, sorry, this one. This is 0. Then this loop will going to run. How many times? It will going to run 5 times. And you are saying print I. I will be 0. Then value of j. For the first iteration, I will be 0. J will be 0 over here. The second iteration, I will remain be the 0 unless and until this piece of code will going to execute. So I will remain be the 0 and j will be from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then I will be 1 and same thing will going to occur again. And this how you can use the concept of nested loop. You can have multiple loops inside a loop. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? It will going to run till 4 because 5 is exclusive. 5 is exclusive. The stopping point is exclusive. Okay, it will going to run 5 times because it will start from 0. It will going to start from 0. So iteration will be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you see how many times it will going to run, it will going to run 5 times, but it will not going to include 5 because 5 is exclusive. 5 is exclusive. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to understand about the while loop. Okay, if you want to use a while loop, you have to use the keyword as while, then you have to provide some condition, and based on that condition you have to provide a statement. Okay, if this condition is true, it will going to run on and on and on unless and until this condition will be false. Okay, so that's the difference between a for loop and while loop. In for loop you have to provide the stopping point to your loop, that hey, you have to stop after 10 iteration or 14 iteration, so on and so forth. In while loop you will going to have infinite loop. In while loop you will going to have infinite loop. It will only going to stop when the condition will be false. Okay, let's see this. If I say a counter is equals to let's say 5, counter is equals to 5, and the condition over here I'm going to provide that count is greater than 4, and over here let me print a statement. It will going to say hello. Now if I say count is greater than 4, is this statement true or false? Is this statement true or false? Is count is greater than 4? Yes or no? True or false? True or false? It is true, right? So what will going to happen? This statement will going to run. This statement will going to get print. Again, for the next iteration, it will going to see this is true again. So it will going to print this again. So like this, it will going to print an infinite loop. It will going to go with an infinite loop. Let's see this. Now see, this is an infinite loop. Over here, if you see, interpreter is still working. Interpreter is still working and it is printing hello, and it goes on and on and on infinitely. Infinitely. Okay, so we need to stop this. Let's stop this. Yeah. Okay, so this loop will go on and on and on infinitely. Okay, so while loop will going to go infinite. So to stop the while loop, you don't have to tell how many times the while loop has to run. Instead, you need to give a condition. Instead, you need to give a condition. Okay, let me say this one. Count is 4 is greater than this count. Okay, so over here, let me say count is 0 and count is greater than 10, and I'm going to use a reassignment to +1. So that means at each step I'm going to increment the counter by 1. So what is happening? For the first iteration, it will going to match what is the value of count. It says the value of count is 0 and it is greater than 10. It is greater than 10. It will going to say it is false. It is absolutely false. So automatically it will going to stop over here, right? If I change this to this, so what happens? This statement will going to become true, right? If this statement is true, then it will going to print this statement. Okay, if the condition is true, it will going to print the statement, and then I'm telling that hey, you need to increment the counter by 1. So what will going to happen? The new value of count will going to be 1 instead of 0. Now again you are going to compare this. Again, this is condition is true, you are going to print this. Okay, now when the count value becomes 10, no value can be greater than or lesser than itself. The statement becomes false, and at that point our loop will going to end. Now see this. Okay, so over here let me print the value counter as well. Count. So you're going to understand. Sorry. Let me use the F string. Count. Okay. Okay, sorry. 0. Count. Over here, all the value of counter is been displayed. That means when count was 0, this statement has occurred. When the count was 1, this statement has occurred till 9th. As soon as the counter value becomes 10, you are comparing 10 is greater than 10. but no number can greater than or lesser than itself. It can be equal to, but no number can be greater than or lesser than itself. Okay, that's why this statement becomes false, and that's how the while loop has stopped. Is it clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? Okay, perfect. This f is a f string. This f is a f string. Okay, let me remove this. Let me remove this. This is an f string. This is a advanced concept of Python, so you can use like this way. It will going to work. This comes under the formatting string and the f string. Okay, so over here you can use like this. Okay, till here it's clear. Perfect. So let's move on to the next topic, that is NumPy. Let's move on to the next topic, NumPy. Now NumPy is very, very important in Python when you're moving towards the data analysis field or machine learning or even DL field. Okay, in deep learning, NumPy holds a very, very crucial role. In deep learning, NumPy holds a very, very, very crucial role if you're more interested in creating some kind of application which can detect that what is the object, which can detect by face, which can detect anything like that. Okay, over there you have to use this NumPy. You have to use this NumPy. Okay, what is this NumPy? We're going to understand in a bit. Okay, this NumPy is an absolute replacement of Python's list. Okay, we have two things. We have Python's list. Okay, we have Python's list that we have seen. Now this NumPy is the replacement of Python's list. This NumPy is a replacement for Python's list. The reason being is that NumPy is much more faster than Python's list. NumPy is much more faster than Python's list. Okay, NumPy is far more faster than Python's list. Why we need a faster list? The reason being is that we get datas. Okay, we play over here with datas in the domain of data science. We play with datas, and as the datas are incrementing each day with a rapid speed, okay, we need, when we try to process or analyze the data, we need a faster response. Okay, we need a faster response. If you are storing a data in a list, if you're storing a large data in a list, it will going to take a hell lot of time for you to analyze that data. It will going to take a lot of storage. It will going to take a lot of computation power. Whereas the same way, NumPy can do your same job in a fraction of a second. That means if suppose Python's list is taking around 6 minutes or 7 minutes to process out some data, NumPy will going to take hardly it will going to take 1 second. Hardly it will going to take 1 second to process out the same data that the Python list will going to take approximately 6 to 7 or 8 or 13 minutes. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Okay. Perfect. So let me demonstrate how exactly NumPy is more faster than Python's list. So let me provide an example. I'm going to import the time module. I'm going to import the NumPy library as NP. This NP is an alias, that means a naming convention. You can use a NumPy as well, but since NumPy is a too long name, so that's why we are going to use an alias as NP. Okay, so over here I'm going to demonstrate about the NumPy, and over here I'm going to demonstrate about the list. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me import the random module. No, we are going to take the random module from here. I'm going to do the starting time, that is time.time. This will going to give me the starting time. Then over here I'm going to calculate some process. So over here this is my mean of NP. I'm going to calculate a mean of NP. I'm going to use the np.mean function, and over here I'm going to provide a set of list over here. Okay, to provide the set of list, I'm going to use the random function. Let's say a is equals to np.random dot rand, and let's say give some value as, Okay, so what I'm telling it that, hey, you have to generate a random values. How many values you have to generate? You have to generate these many values. Let me add one more zero. You have to generate these many values randomly. Okay, and all the values will be varying between 0 and 1. So this function will going to generate these many values randomly. All the values will be randomly varying between 0 to 1. Okay, let's run this. Okay, now it will going to generate random values. Okay, the values that we have not given specifically, that it should be like 2, 4, 6 and so on and so forth. It will randomly going to generate the values. Okay, and it will going to store in this A, and then we are going to use all the values to find its mean. Oh, okay, so we have utilized the CPU, I guess. Let's run this again. In collab we can only go with 12 GB of RAM, right? So let's see this. Okay, it's done. Okay, now I'm going to find out the mean. I'm going to find out the mean of this A. What exactly is this A? Let's see this. If you see over here, this A will going to give me an array, and in this array I am having then all the numbers. Okay, and these are the numbers. That how many numbers are there? These many numbers. These many numbers are there, and all these numbers are random. All this number that has generated are random, and they're varying between 0 to 1. Okay, so let me show you the length of A. You will going to see it will going to be exactly the same thing. Okay, length of A. Now we're going to see how much time this numpy will going to take to process these many numbers, and how much time will this list will going to take to process this number. Okay, so let me write over here as A. That is the entire list. Now I'm going to say print time dot time, that is our final time, minus the starting time. Okay, the same thing let's provide over here. This is for the list, so mean of list. And what is the formula to find the mean? That is the average. That means the summation of all the values divided by the length of the list, right? So I can say summation of all the values divided by length of A. Yes or no? This is how you find out the average. Yes or no? Right? Okay. Perfect. So let's run this and let's see how much time this numpy will going to take to find out the mean of all these numbers, and how much time will this list will going to take to find out all the numbers. Let's see this. So it didn't even take a second. It didn't even take a second. That means 0.98 second. Okay, approximately a second it has taken to process out the mean. Let's go with the list and let's see how much time our list will going to take. So now if you can see, it is still working. It is still working. Okay, so if you're having a data, because the data is expanding rapidly, as I've already mentioned. Now if you're using numpy, now see, if you have these many data points, it will be very easy for you to process, analyze and all that, right? It will not going to take much storage. It will not going to take a lot of computation power, and it is not even time consuming. Whereas if you're using the list to process this out, it will be a huge time consuming. And over here you can see it is consuming a lot of RAM. You can see it is crossing the threshold value. It is about to. Okay, let's wait and see how much time our list will going to take. Okay, for this reason we go on to this numpy. Okay, let's understand. This is an interview question that most of the time if you're applying for the data analysis or data analyst or machine learning engineer, interview will going to ask you that we already have the Python's list, so why do we need to go with numpy array? Why do we need to go with numpy array if you already have Python list? The simple and basic answer is that numpy array is way more faster than the Python list. Numpy array is way more faster than the Python list. Is it done? Okay, it's still going on. Till here it's clear? Till here it's clear? Yes or no? Till here it's clear? Yes or no? Perfect. Okay. Now, over here in this numpy array, we play with the dimensions. We play with the dimension. That means 0 dimension, 1 dimension, 3 dimension, 4 dimension, and so on and so forth. So on and so forth. They are multi-dimension over here. Okay. They are multi-dimension over here. They are 1D array, 2D array, 3D array, 4D array, and plenty much more array. So they are bulk to know in this numpy array. Okay. We use this numpy in machine learning, we use this in data analysis, we use this in deep learning. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's still going on. Oh, that will going to take a lot of time. Let's do this. Okay, now in this numpy array we generally use 1D array and 2D array. Oh, let me write this: 1D array and 2D array. Okay, 1D array and 2D array. In NumPy, we generally use 1D array and 2D array. We don't go beyond like 2D. Hardly we're going to take 3D and 4D array. Generally, we work on with 1D array and 2D array. Okay. 2D array means two dimension. Okay. If you see a table, if you look onto a table, okay, table is a two dimension. This table is a two dimension. The reason being is it has two axes. One being the y-axis and other is the x-axis. Okay, so how many axes we are having? Two axes. That means it is a two dimension. If you have one axis, it will be one dimension. If you have three axes, this is your x, this is your y, this is your z. So these are three axes. That means it is a three dimension, and it is absolutely impossible to draw four dimension on a 2D plane. This is a 2D plane. Okay, so we generally work on a table. That's why we use two dimension. I think it's done. Let's check this. Okay, it took 178 seconds. It took 178 seconds, approximately 3 minutes. Approximately 3 minutes, whereas NumPy has taken 1 second. Approximately 1 second. So NumPy has taken 1 second, and this is an approx value, whereas list has taken approx 3 minutes. Yes or no? So now if I ask you, which among the two do you consider? Which among the two will you going to consider? NumPy array or list? Tell me. NumPy array, exactly. Okay, because in the data analysis field, data science field, you have to deal with the data, and generally we don't have that much high computation power, right? If you are performing data analysis in your collab or in your system, generally you don't need to buy some high tech system to perform the data analysis, machine learning and deep learning, right? So that's how we use the NumPy array to perform the operation that are way more faster. It is not even faster, but they are way more faster than the list. Let's check to the values. Are they giving us the correct value or not? So mean of NP, it is giving us 0.49, approximately 0.5 mean. Let's check for the list. 0.5. So both are giving us the same value. Both are giving us the same value, 0.5 as the mean, and over here as well it is giving us 0.5 as the mean. That means we are getting the same value. We are going to get same output. Okay. So that's why we use NumPy. That's why we use this NumPy. Okay. In NumPy, if you want to make an array or like a single dimension array or a one dimension array, so we are going to make like this. Let's suppose a np.array, np.array. Okay, and in this array we provide the value. In this array we provides the value. Okay, so let's say 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is how you're going to create a one dimensional array, and if you want to check which dimensional array is it, then we have an attribute as ndim. Okay, it says 1. That means what is the number of dimension? That is one dimension. This is a one dimensional array. If you want to create two-dimensional array, let me copy this. Two-dimensional array means that you should have two axes. One is the row, another being the column. So let's enclose this. 1 2 3 4. Let's 5 6 7 8. Let's run this. And now if I say a.endIm, you are getting the number of dimension is 2, because if I print a over here, you will going to find out it has two axes. This is one axis, this is your y axis, sorry, this is your x axis, and this is your y axis. You have two axes over here. This is your y axis and this is your, sorry, this is your x axis and this is your y axis. This is how you will going to create two-dimensional array. And if you notice, each dimension is the multiple of the previous dimension. Okay, so if you want to create a two-dimension, it should include one-dimensional arrays. One-dimensional array, that means collection of their previous dimension. Collection of their previous dimension. So this is a one-dimensional array, and if you provide the collection of one-dimensional array, it will going to become two-dimensional arrays. Now see, this is one-dimensional array, this is another one-dimensional array, and collectively they are known as a two-dimensional array. Similar in the three-dimensional array, that means collection of two-dimensional array will going to build three-dimensional array. Collection of three-dimensional array will going to build four-dimensional array, and that's how it will going to go on and on and on. Is this clear? Or it depends that if you are performing the analysis, kindly go with Colab or any kind of notebook. VS Code is only used when you have to make some softwares or when you want to integrate some models into some softwares. Then only you have to go with this part. Okay? Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Give me a confirmation. Okay, perfect. So now if you want to print the two-dimensional or three-dimensional array, okay, if you want to print a three-dimensional array, then what you have to do, let's say b is equals to np.array, and over here you are going to provide a. That means a is a 2D array. A is a two-dimensional array. Now if you see b.endIm, you're going to find out the 3D array. That means the collection of 2D array. This a is a 2D array. This a is a 2D array, right? So this how you are going to create a 3D array. Now if I print a over here, this is your a and this is your b. This is your 2D array and this is your 3D array. This is your 3D array. Okay, is this clear? And there are multiple things in Numpy that we generally use. It is next to impossible to cover everything in just like 10 minutes and so on and so forth. So far you need to understand what is NumPy and how it is different from list. And in NumPy we deal with 1D array and 2D array. Okay, 2D array means where we have two axes, that is an x-axis and other is a y-axis. Okay, tomorrow we're going to start with pandas and we're going to cover the machine learning. What is machine learning? We're going to discuss about linear regression tomorrow, and we are going to build a project, and day after tomorrow I will be giving you all the details about the project and you will be going to have a week time to submit that project. Okay, only those students who will going to submit the project will going to get the certificate. Okay, is this clear? So today as well the team will going to send you the attendance link. Okay, I'm not sure why they haven't sent you the yesterday one, but they will going to send you the yesterday and today as well at the same pace, I believe so. Okay, so with respect to your WhatsApp group or your Telegram group, you will be getting your attendance link for both today and yesterday as well, and similarly for the campus ambassador program as well. Over here everything is work from home. You don't need to go on and to any colleges and so on and so forth to preach about that. No, you need to work from home. You just have to enroll and we're going to take your interview, and after that we're going to select some of the ambassadors, and according to there are a lot of benefits that you can't even think of. Okay, so kindly it is of free of cost, so kindly give it a shot and enroll it in this way. Okay, so thank you so much for joining in. for the attendance link for yesterday and today will be given to your respective WhatsApp group or Telegram group. Okay, so if our team has not given it yesterday, then definitely they will going to provide it today itself. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow and we are going to start with the ML part. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. Where we get the link, which link are you talking about? Are you talking about the attendance link? Attendance link will going to be given on your WhatsApp group. Okay, perfect. Is there any advantage of NumPy? There's a huge advantage of NumPy. The one advantage we have already shared, right? We have already talked about one advantage over here. Yes or no? Right? That it is way more faster than Python list. And if something is faster, we have to prefer that. Okay. Uh, there are a lot to explain. There are a lot to explain about the time model and so on and so forth, but we don't have that much time to explain, right? So we're going to focus on some sectors, and we're going to start with that. Okay. So thank you so much for joining in. Let's meet tomorrow, and we're going to wrap this entire session tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, I will be explaining you uh, what project you need to do, and then we're going to wrap this entire session for the day. Okay. Thank you so much for joining in. Any specific question? Uh, does Shaurya sir leave the session? No, no, no. He has been occupied with some other work, so that's why I'm taking the rest of the session. Okay, most probably in future you will going to see him very soon. Okay. This boot camp is for like 7 days. We have already completed with 5 days. 2 more days has been left. Tomorrow will be the second last day, and following up will be the last day of working. Okay. 3D array. 3D array is the collection of 2D array. Okay, in a very simple manner, it's a collection of 2D array. Can I do Python in VS Code? Yes, you can do Python in your VS Code. You just needs to install the Python interpreter. You can go onto the Python website. You can install that, and then you can use your VS Code as well. Okay, perfect. Why NumPy is faster? Because most of the components of NumPy has been written in C. Okay, most of the component has been written in C and C++. That's why it is way more faster. Any information about DSA course from I have no idea regarding the DSA course. You need to talk to your respective teammate, or you have to respective person who has been no, responsible for this. Perfect. So that's the entire wrap, and that's all from my end. Let's meet tomorrow, and we're going to discuss about the machine learning. Okay, thank you so much. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.